Let's review the 12 links of dependent arising, or pratitya samutpada. The outer rim of the Wheel of Life shows how these links span 3 lifetimes: past, present, and future. The basic principle of dependent arising is, due to the existence of this, that arises. This chain of 12 links begins with ignorance and ends with aging and death, perpetuating the cycle of suffering. We begin at the very top of the wheel's outer rim with the first link, ignorance, or avidya. Look closely at the symbol used here, a blind man tapping his way along with a cane. This is not a casual choice. Just as a person without sight cannot perceive the path ahead and is bound to stumble, the blind man represents our own inability to see the true nature of reality. He wanders, not because the path isn't there, but because he lacks the faculty to perceive it. In this tradition, we speak of 2 distinct ways this blindness manifests. First, there is root ignorance. This is the innate absence of knowledge that we are all born with. It acts as a veil, obstructing us from seeing things as they truly are, interconnected and dependently arisen. Instead, it leads us to see ourselves and the objects around us as inherently existent, solid, independent, and unchanging. Then, there is artificial ignorance. This is a secondary layer, a learned misunderstanding. It arises when we adopt wrong ideas or mistaken belief systems that further cloud our judgment, reinforcing the illusion of a permanent self. As the philosopher Nagarjuna taught, it is this very consciousness, the one that conceives of things as ultimately existing on their own, that is the root of all suffering. From this single blind step, the other 11 links are born. But remember, if we can replace this blindness with the light of wisdom, the entire chain begins to unravel. Nagarjuna described ignorance as the consciousness that conceives things, produced in dependence upon causes, to ultimately exist. This is the fundamental misunderstanding from which the 12 links arise. He says that consciousness conceiving things, which are produced in dependence upon causes and conditions, to ultimately exist, was said by the teacher to be ignorance. From it, the 12 links arise. Ignorance operates on multiple levels, from the appearance of an object as inherently existent, to actively apprehending it as such, which triggers desire. The third level is the strong conception of ownership. From the darkness of ignorance, we move to the second link, action, also known as volition or samskara. Look at the image of the potter at his wheel. Just as a potter takes raw, unformed clay and, through deliberate movement and intent, shapes it into a specific vessel, our intentional actions shape the container of our future. Every thought, word, and deed driven by ignorance acts as the potter's hands, molding the trajectory of what is to come. In the teachings, we distinguish between 2 powerful types of karma at work here. Projecting karma. These are the primary actions that have the power to project us into an entirely new life. They set the broad destination of our next rebirth. Completing karma. These are the secondary actions that fill in the details of that life, determining our health, our wealth, and the specific circumstances we find ourselves in. Whether these actions are virtuous or non-virtuous, they are called compositional actions. They are the energy that propels the consciousness forward. Because they are still rooted in the first link of ignorance, they inevitably cause the cycle of pleasure and suffering to turn once more. We are, in every moment, the potters of our own destiny. In the iconography of the wheel, consciousness is vividly depicted as a monkey jumping restlessly from window to window. This monkey represents the erratic nature of our mind. Just as a monkey cannot stay still, swinging from one branch to another, our 6 consciousnesses, those of the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mental faculty, dart toward their respective objects, never finding true rest. But there is a deeper role for this monkey. It acts as the carrier. It is the discriminative consciousness that, propelled by the potter's actions, enters the stream of a new life. It carries within it the karmic imprints, the seeds of our past deeds, bringing them from the previous existence into the present one. It is the bridge between what was and what is about to become. Once the restless monkey of consciousness has entered the stream of a new life, it needs a vehicle. This is symbolized by people in a boat. Think of the boat itself as the form, the physical body, and the 5 sense organs that provide the structure for existence. The passengers in the boat represent the name, the 4 mental aggregates, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness itself. At this stage, the being has entered the stream of rebirth. The mind and body are now inextricably linked, traveling together toward the next development in the cycle. Without the boat, the passengers cannot cross the water. Without the passengers, the boat has no direction. They arise together, dependent on one another. As the boat travels further, we reach the 5th link, the six sense spheres, symbolized by a house with 6 windows. Imagine a house that is fully built but remains empty. This represents a fetus in the womb. The 6 sense organs, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, have developed their shape, but they are not yet functioning. The windows are there, but no light has yet passed through them to meet the world outside. The potential for experience is ready, waiting for the moment of contact. As the windows of the house open, we reach the 6th link, contact, symbolized by a kiss. This represents the coming together of 3 things: the object, the sense power, and the consciousness. It is a mental factor that distinguishes an experience as it happens. Just as a kiss is the moment 2 people meet, contact is the spark that occurs when our senses finally touch the world around us. It is the immediate precursor to how we feel about what we encounter. Immediately following contact is the 7th link, feeling or Vedana. This is symbolized by an arrow stuck in a person's eye. This striking and painful image is used to show how a seemingly small condition, like a thin arrow, can cause a massive and overwhelming amount of pain. It represents the 3 types of feelings we experience: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. The narration reminds us that these feelings are the fuel for the 3 poisons. Pleasant feelings give rise to desire. Unpleasant feelings give rise to hatred. Neutral feelings give rise to further ignorance. Even a neutral feeling is not safe. It is simply a temporary pause in the cycle of reaction. Once we have experienced feeling, we arrive at the 8th link, attachment or thirst. It is symbolized by a person drinking beer or tea. This is the transition from a simple sensation to a deep, compulsive craving. Just as a thirsty person drinks but finds their thirst returning soon after, this link represents a desire that is never truly satisfied. No matter how much you acquire or experience, the mind demands more, fueling the momentum of the wheel. This thirst quickly hardens into the 9th link, grasping, symbolized by a monkey reaching for fruit. While attachment is the internal desire, grasping is the active reaching out to possess. The narration identifies 4 types of grasping: the pursuit of desired objects, clinging to a false view of the self, adhering to erroneous philosophical views, and following non-virtuous ethics. We are no longer just thirsty, we are actively entangled with the objects of our world. Finally, we reach the 10th link, existence, symbolized by a pregnant woman or sexual intercourse. This is a critical turning point. It represents the, quote, potentialized level of karma. All our previous actions, attachments, and graspings have now gathered enough strength to fully project us into a new life. It is directional. The process of the intermediate state has begun, and a future birth is now inevitable. The seed has not just been planted, it has fully ripened and is ready to burst forth. With the momentum of existence fully potentialized, we reach the 11th link, birth. This is symbolized by a woman giving birth. This link marks the actual beginning of a new life, the moment the consciousness and the mental physical aggregates take hold in one of the 6 realms. It is the physical manifestation of all the preceding causes. The narration reminds us that this isn't just a beginning, but the inevitable taking on of a new set of conditions that will once again experience the world. Finally, we arrive at the 12th link, the closing of the circle, aging and death. This is symbolized by a funeral pyre or a coffin. The narration offers a profound insight here. Aging is not something that happens only at the end of life. It is progressive. From the very moment of conception, a being is already proceeding in the direction of aging. It is a continuous process of deterioration and degeneration that eventually culminates in death. But as the Wheel of Life shows us, in the context of dependent arising, death is not a final ending. It is a transition. Because the root, ignorance, has not yet been severed, the momentum of these 12 links will carry the consciousness right back to the beginning, starting the cycle all over again. The Wheel of Life is not just a diagram. It is a mirror reflecting conditioned existence. Death in Buddhism is not an ending, but a transition within a beginningless cycle, driven by clinging. The process of affliction, or samsara, is the 12 links unfolding from ignorance to death. The process of purification, nirvana, is the cessation of the links when ignorance is eliminated. The Buddha points to liberation outside the wheel. Loving kindness is the wish that all beings have happiness. Compassion is the wish that all beings be free from suffering. While wisdom provides freedom, compassion prevents abandonment, leading to the bodhisattva vow to liberate all beings. The wheel teaches that life and death are woven together by ignorance and craving. The way out is the noble eightfold path: grounded in wisdom, ethical conduct, and concentration. This wisdom, transformed by compassion, leads to the aspiration to free all beings.